Okay, so have you ever worked for a company that it seemed like, oh, I bet this is a scam job, or this company really is probably running a scam on people? Well, I've had a couple of weird jobs like that, so I thought I would talk about them today. Now, some you could probably blame on me just being young and naive, and some occurred when I was much older. Probably when I was about, let's see, 18 years old. I remember getting called to a job interview a job I had applied for. And so I was really excited. And of course, you assume a job interview is going to be where you meet with the people and they're going to ask you some questions. And I got there and there was about 40 other people. And it was like what they considered like a group interview, a cattle call, really. So they brought 40 people into a room and started asking questions. And I guess you were just supposed to jump in there and shout out your answer, like if you wanted to be noticed or whatever. It wasn't like anyone came and spoke to me one-on-one individually and asked me a question. They were just throwing questions out to the room. People being interviewed were supposed to like shout out their answer. So I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. This seems weird. Then they gave us a script to read. And I guess this was like a phone center job where basically we were going to have to cold call people, and they wanted us to read the script exactly as the script was. And the script was like so worded in ways that's not even like how I speak or, phrases I would use. And you couldn't go off script. Okay. So I was just like, okay, well, I don't feel comfortable reading this. I don't feel comfortable saying this stuff. And I pretty much just walked out of this cattle call. I was like, I'm not interested in this job. Like, just, it's not my scene. Okay. But I have had other jobs that were, kind of strange in the way that I was like, I'm not sure if what we're doing is legal. I mean, I guess it is. So for instance, a lot of times you'll see those ads either on TV, magazines, whatever, and it'll be like, send us your information if you're interested in this school or like a technical school where they teach auto repair or how to work on air conditioning or something like that. And you're supposed to send in your information if you're interested in this school. So I basically worked at this data center where it was everybody who sent in their information, and then we were supposed to collect that information. Like if it came in on postcards, there were some people working the phone, so if people were calling in to say they were interested in the school, and there was no school. This was like a scam. It was a scam to collect people's information. So I would get the postcards, and part of the reason they hired me is because I can type really fast. I remember they gave us a typing test to see how fast we could type. Well, I didn't realize that if you can type fast, like 60 to 80 words per minute, that meant like they want you typing 60 to 80 words per minute, like for 8 hours a day, to the point that like you get carpal tunnel, and my hands were all like in pain and arthritis and everything. Like I was not expecting that. I thought you would just type a letter here and there. I didn't know if you'd be constantly typing data all day long. So anyways, we would get these postcards and it would have the people's name, phone number, address, and we would type it into this database. And as far as I know, this was collecting people's information and then selling their information like to other companies. There was no school. You were contacting this company, asking for more information about a school, and there was no school. It was all a scam. And I only worked there for a short while before I was just like, I can't even keep typing. Like just my hands hurt, like when I would come home at the end of the day. So let me talk about one more weird, odd job. And this is when I actually lived with some roommates, and I don't know, I was out of work, and one of my roommates worked for this company, and he was like, well, I could probably get you a job where I work. So I was like, okay. And this is also kind of like a weird thing. So this is like when people would buy bottles of wine or wine cooler or whatever. A lot of times there'd be a little tag on the package that says like, send in your information for a rebate. And so the job was considered a rebate processing center. Honestly, I don't even know if they still do this sort of thing, but back then they did. I guess a lot of wine companies used to do this. And supposedly if you sent in your information, they would send you a rebate, which meant you got like a check in the mail for like $2 or something like that. Like it was hardly, even worth the stamp to send the rebate. But it was the same thing where you get these little tiny forms, and so it was like a database entering people's information into the database. And yes, they really did get issued a rebate. It would be like a $2 check in the mail. But what I started to find out is that my roommate, he was basically putting in his address and having all the rebates sent to him. And I didn't realize he was doing this. This is like a scam he was doing like on his own. And basically he was like, they would give you a pile of things that you have to enter into the system, and he was just entering them all as if they were all $2 rebates to himself. And so that's what he was doing. I didn't even realize this until much later. And I'll tell you, the reason I didn't work there anymore had really nothing to do with the job, but it had to do with I was at some point working 2 jobs. So I was very like, you know, working 2 full-time jobs, struggling to get by, you know, whatever. And it was like hardly getting any sleep at night. So a lot of times what would happen is, you know, I would get really tired. So when it was our break time, you get like half-hour lunch break, I would just go sleep in my car because I was so like worn out. I was like, oh, you know, there's hardly any time between like one job to the next to get a nap or whatever. So this is what happened is we were allowed to take a break, and I went out to my car, and usually I set an alarm on my phone, and I was just gonna take a nap. And I guess I slept for like 4 hours instead of like the half-hour break. And then I woke up and I was like, oh no, I've been asleep for 4 hours. Like, and I was like, well, now like they're definitely gonna wonder what happened to me. Like, you know, I'm probably fired. So I went back inside to my desk because I thought like my stuff's still in there. I gotta go get my stuff. I walked back in, and it was like no one even noticed I was gone. Like I had been gone for like 4 hours asleep in my car. No one even noticed. And I just like kind of like went back to work. I was like, okay, well, no one said anything. I guess I'll just, you know, maybe I can keep getting away with this. Like my friend's writing rebates to himself. I'm sleeping in my car 4 hours a day. Like this company is kind of like, I don't know, like, do they even know what's going on? So, that kind of made me consider that maybe I don't want to keep working there, because maybe there's like some of this, maybe we're going to get in trouble. Something might catch up to us or something. So anyways, I quit that job. My friend still kept working there. So, I mean, I don't know how long he ran that scam for, because I eventually moved out of that place. I don't live with him anymore. But, you know, there's a lot of weird jobs out there that, you know, either the job's weird, or the company's running a scam, or they're gonna scam you as an employee. So you just never know these days. Thanks for watching my video today.